Hello, this is MichMusic now. I'm in Moscow, Russia, and I'm in front of the most beautiful cathedral, the iconic symbol of Moscow, St. Basil's Cathedral. I'm here for the Moscow A Cappella Spring Festival, and we have, I think, around 170 something vocal groups here for about a week and a half. It's really an amazing event. Please look it up online. But right now we're talking about transcribing, specifically transcribing rhythms. The reason I'm talking about this today is because I recently had an experience with one of my students back home where we were looking at it seemed like a pretty basic swing jazz rhythm, and we were working on transcribing it, and it was really challenging for her. So I learned a couple of things from this. Number one, I learned that if you're a person that's a singer primarily and you don't have a lot of experience in reading as compared to your instrumental counterparts who maybe played in band all their lives, and in choral music there was a little bit less emphasis on reading, it's probably then also hard to transcribe rhythms and notes also, for that matter. Secondly, it has occurred to me that people that are having trouble transcribing rhythms probably are not using a solid reference point. When we're transcribing rhythms, we need two things. We need our reference point and then our rhythm, and we need to combine the two so we see how the rhythm lays on the reference point. Reference points are this. It's a twofold thing. The first part of a reference point is the steady pulse, which I like to call the heartbeat. So in the vast majority of Western music that we're doing, it's 4/4, and so the reference point is the quarter note. The other part of the reference point is the subdivision, and again, in most cases, the subdivision will be eighth notes. Yes, they may be swing eighths, shuffle eighths, straight eighths, bells in the background, who knows what they could be, but there will be a subdivision. For today, we are going to use straight eighths, and I'm going to give you a simple rhythm. We're going to go through the step-by-step process of how to transcribe a simple rhythm as soon as the bells stop. And it must... So the first thing that we want to do is write so that we have a visual representation of our reference points, the steady beat and the subdivision. So luckily, I have my trusty glass whiteboard, which I love so much. It did fly here from the United States, and it did not break, so I'm so happy about that. And what I'm going to do is just write out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so we can see it. It's you could also do air writing if you want, especially later. As you get better, you could go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that could help you transcribe also. But for now, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... There we go. And then we're going to label them 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then you want your finger to follow along with these beats so that you lock into it as your reference base. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. No problem. Then we need a rhythm, and we're going to use a rhythm that you might take over from a recording. And it could be, there could be a lot of other sounds going on in the recording, and you decided I'm going to take the saxophone rhythm or the singer's rhythm or even the drum rhythm or the bass player's rhythm. You have to really obviously focus on that and then memorize and be able to reliably repeat that rhythm. So I'm going to give it to you right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, ba ba da da da. There it is. So maybe one time listening isn't enough. So you may have to listen a few times. Take a bite-sized piece. Don't try to do 16 measures all at once, okay? Take 1 measure, 2, 4 measures, something like that. So here it is again. Ba ba da da da. Again, and ba ba da da da. Repeat it until you can memorize it. Then slow it down a little bit. Ba ba da 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 ba ba da da da. Make sure you're 100% solid on it. Then take your reference that you've written out and say your rhythm while you point to the steady beats. Ba ba da 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 ba ba da da da. Reminder: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And here it goes again with the steady rhythm. Ready? Go. Ba ba da 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 ba ba da da da. Now all I need to do is circle the rhythm that I am saying on the steady beat that it falls on. So let's find that out. Where does the rhythm fall on the steady beat? Ba. Ah, there's one. Circling it. Now I go back to the beginning. Ba ba da. Aha. There's one there. Ba ba da da. There's two right there. And ba ba da da da. Wow, one on the end of 4. Voila, you have just transcribed your rhythm. Now you're going to translate it into, how can I hold this? Into notes, as in normal notation. So there's an eighth note here, there's an eighth note here, there's 2 eighth notes together, so I'll do that, and there's an eighth note here. Now, this is where the math comes in. We have to fill in the blanks with, rests so that we make a complete measure. And here it goes. There's anything happening on beat 1? No. So it's an eighth note rest. Anything happening beat 2? Nope. It's an eighth note. What about beat 4? No. Then check your work. And this is a rule of life that I recommend for you. Check your work. You're filling out an application for a job. Check your work. You're doing a homework assignment, check your work. You're doing a test in school, check your work. I can't tell you how many students I know don't check their work, and the minute they do, they say, oh yeah, I could have corrected that, and then I would have gotten an A instead of a D. No, not really, but, do check your work. So we're going to just read this rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and ba ba da 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 ba da 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 ba. Voila, it's perfect. All right, hope that helped. Take care. See you next time.